I want to talk about this because I am not up to date on any of the Bethesda stuff, any of the leaks, nothing at all. I have no idea what's going on. So I want to check out some of this stuff, and it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. So I'm gonna put this link in chat so you guys can follow. So there's the link to this video we're gonna go through. Let's check it out from the one, the only Juicehead, who I'm told is a very good Bethesda creator. Let's see what he's got to say.
7 days away from the Xbox and Bethesda 2023 Summer Showcase. And we basically know at this point that we are going to be seeing some pretty incredible game reveals at this. There's big things like Starfield already being concretely confirmed, but also as we approach big events like this one, there's also just a ton of leaks dropping. So in this video, I want to take you through some of the absolutely outlandish, but also some incredibly plausible leaks around Xbox and Bethesda to pop up over the past couple of weeks, and even some in just the past few days. We're looking at leaks ranging from new Starfield detail.
I still really want the leather jacket. It's a gamble though. If I buy that jacket and then he's not wearing it, I'm gonna look like a chump. I'm just gonna look like a guy sitting in a chair in a cold room. Not really cold, in a hot room, really. In a leather jacket for some reason while watching a showcase. Do I want to risk it? Do I want to risk it? It would be really funny. Really funny if I ended up wearing pretty much exactly what Todd is wearing during the Starfield showcase. If only I knew somebody who could be like, hey Todd, what are you wearing? That would be awesome.
Fallout New Vegas 2 being a reality and being revealed at this showcase, and perhaps even Xbox teasing one of the most anticipated RPGs making a big appearance here. But who I do have some beef with is all of these fake leakers, misleading fans just weeks before the...
This one was funny. Because what was it that they had in here? They had something in here that was just really, really bizarre. Halo Tatanka, Fallout New Vegas 2. I think that's one where it was like, what? Midnight TBA. Just like, okay. I don't know. I get it. People enjoy making stuff up. It's fun. We pulled this up on stream because I was like trying to get an idea of what games Xbox fans are expecting and are kind of hoping for, because they put some in here that are kind of layups, like, okay, Avowed, Starfield, Fable, State of Decay, Hollow Knight. Okay, yeah, all of those would make sense to see. Halo Blade or Hellblade, all of those make sense. But then he tosses in a couple of these, like Fallout New Vegas 2, Scalebound. Okay.
The big reveal. And while I would...
Also, question, are people like actually still simping on Scalebound? Because that's like years ago. Like I see people mention it all the time, and I'm still baffled that people talk about it. Like, am I just not in the loop? I don't even know what that is. Okay, so I'm not alone, because I don't understand why people are still like, I hope they reboot it. I hope they bring it back and restart development. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, okay. What is it? It's like a canceled game from years and years ago that they were making, and then they canceled it and walked away. Like maybe 7-8 years ago when this dropped in 2015, it looked more compelling. But frankly, I look at this and I'm like, no, I'm kind of okay that they canceled it. Honestly, I'd rather focus on other things. But I don't know. Some people went hard for it and still talk about it to this day. It's really weird.
I'd like to roast them like an Ohio chicken. I just don't see them getting into the ring.
An Ohio chicken? Is that a turn of phrase?
Don't see them getting into the ring with me. So instead, let's face off in the best tower defense game in the world right now. Thanks to today's video sponsor, Rush Royale. Rush Royale is this incredibly fun combo of tower defense. We're going to defend against waves of...
Rush Royale. Wow, dude. He's making bank with that. Oh, and nobody cares. I've never tried Rush Royale. I don't know. Maybe it is really fun. I do like tower defense games. I will be honest. Allegedly, in high school, I may have played... Here, I'll move my camera. If you want to download it to support Juicehead, you can do that. Let me get the thing to clear off. But you can scan that QR code. Help a brother out. But in high school, allegedly, I might have played some tower defense games during the computer class because, like, the teacher, all he would talk about was like how to copy and paste stuff, how to select multiple cells in an Excel spreadsheet. Like, it was the most bare bones basic thing ever. And I was like, come on, guys. Dude, if I did this ad, you guys would roast me alive. Am I wrong? I feel like you guys would tease the crap out of me for doing this. and probably rightly so.
Limited. But on a high level, one of the Xbox/Bethesda showcase leaks that does genuinely seem promising comes from Extra 1S TV on Twitter. This user claims that they heard of 2 unexpected game announcements that are going to be made at the Xbox showcase that are going to leave fans with their jaws on the ground and just in general speechless. Still,
This type of leak always is so cringe to me. It's just somebody saying, oh man, I'm receiving information that everyone's gonna love what they show. Cool, dude. Dry up. I don't give a shit. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Okay, cool story, bro. Like, go away. Like, this is not helpful. This doesn't tell us anything. And then after the showcase, if it's not that impressive, he's gonna go, yeah, they didn't show the thing I was told they were gonna show. And then if they do show something that excites people, he's gonna be like, yeah, I told you. See, my prediction was right. This is the most useless kind of thing, but people and fanboys still talk about it all the time.
Still, a lot of time when you're going into an event with a high-level, vague statement like this, it's just textbook overhyping. Although, with
I
this
agree.
particular leaker, they've actually gotten quite a bit right in the past. They did successfully leak an upcoming Switch remake over a month before it was announced, and perhaps even more importantly, a gameplay clip of the upcoming game from Hideo Kojima. I'm not going to show you this because this video will almost certainly get taken down if I show you that leaked gameplay clip, but that's particularly relevant here as this game is said to be taking full advantage of Xbox Cloud technology. So this leaker coming back around saying he heard 2 big unexpected games are at the Xbox showcase does seem a bit more plausible. They clearly at least had some sources in or around Xbox in the past. Although of course that also leaves the big question, what 2 games could be announced or revealed here that are going to leave fans with their jaws on the floor? Obviously anything that's a surprise around Fallout would be a huge deal, although I would definitely caution around this one. Just because they're going to be big and unexpected announcements to this leaker doesn't mean it's going to hit the same way for the rest of us. Perhaps they didn't know that Fallout 4 was getting a next-gen update. It seems pretty likely we'll get at least a trailer around that at this showcase, and if they didn't know that, that could seem like a huge and unexpected reveal, even though most of us have been following that pretty closely now. Either way, it's definitely an interesting one, although definitely be careful with not getting yourself overhyped once again. But one of the other pretty interesting and most often faked category of leaks is the entire lineup of the showcase being shared. You always get these shaky photos that are partially cut off with some common predictions, but also a few outlandish ones in
Dead Static Drive, is that Persona 3 remake? Is that what that's supposed to be? Persona 3. Okay, I don't know. That would be crazy. Replaced Avowed, Exoprimal, Flintlock, Silksong, Hellblade 2, Starfield, Age of Empires, Lies of P. I don't know, man.
intermixed. They're presented as an official list of what games are going to be at the showcase.
By the way, I saw somebody asking why all of these leaks, the real ones and the fake ones, are always taken on cell phones. It's because if you were to like right click and like download the image, save the image to your PC, if you were like given a say a slideshow and then you saved that, put it on a thumb drive and then or emailed it to yourself, that has metadata tied up in it and they'd be able to track it back to you. Whereas if you just take a picture on your phone and then do like a screenshot of the phone, or you do like take a picture of the phone and then you upload it to an online service and then link that online service, like the Discord image, for example, to another thing to upload it that way, you can dump the metadata usually. So apparently there's a reason most leakers tend to take kind of wobbly, weird looking photos like this. It's super annoying if you're trying to see what is actually being shown, but
intermixed.
There's a
They're
reason
presented
for
as an
it.
official list of what games are going to be at the showcase, because apparently Xbox just maintains lists like this that a bunch of employees have access to. And now for 2023, we actually did get a few of these, and although there are some interesting parts, you can almost always assume these are going to be fake. We had one such list that does say that the Evil Within 3 is going to be shown at the Xbox showcase this year. The Evil Within 3 is probably coming at some point. It was seemingly teased in Ghostwire Tokyo, at least according to some fans, although we also just got Ghostwire Tokyo, like literally last year, with an Xbox re-release earlier this year. And of course, we also got Hi-Fi Rush earlier this year. Both of those games were made by Tango Gameworks, the same devs behind the Evil Within 3, so I'd have a pretty hard time believing they'd be ready to show more already. But what is even wilder on this list is Fallout London reportedly at the official Xbox showcase. It's not really clear if this means they bought out the mod. There's this constant narrative in the community that Bethesda should hire entire mod teams. So perhaps this leak is alluding to the fact that that actually happened, or just in general, Fallout London is technically set to release at some point in 2023. So perhaps this leaker is claiming that Xbox is going to give them a big platform.
it is amazing that modders can get like train systems working and vehicles working in their games. And BGS is just like, I don't know, man, we can't even get the frame rate above 30 for a showcase. So, you know, it's just amazing to me. I understand there's a difference between like getting something working for a mod that's really unstable and getting like a full release ready. I understand there's a difference there, but still, it's what those modders are able to do is just phenomenal. What's Fallout London? Fallout London is like, it's a mod project. If you're not familiar with it, I don't know when the last thing they shared was, but Fallout London is actually pretty cool. And it's basically an ambitious trailblazing
Luke
DLC.
9K super chatted $5.
Oh baby, Luke,
Carrier
thank you.
pigeon arrives. Can I have the hidden and unknown, please? LMAO.
That's funny. The carrier pigeon came out. Thank you for the 5. So yeah, it's a DLC sized mod for Fallout 4, and it is aiming to take place in London, from stuffy parliamentary aristocrats to a resurrection of the Knights of the Round Table to an uncompromising cult of revolutionaries and more. Fallout London embodies the history and aesthetics of London and puts unmistakably nuclear spin on the beloved city. So really interesting mod. I don't know releases, maybe. It's not moving quickly, and I think they've been quiet for a while now. I might be wrong, but I think they've been quiet for a while. But anyway, it's a really interesting and ambitious mod, and people were saying maybe Xbox and Bethesda bought out the mod team and hired them on to make this an actual thing. Who knows if that's actually a thing? I have no idea. No idea.
Form to showcase things, despite the fact that the mod won't actually be available on an Xbox. You could only play it on PC. And as cool as something like that would be, I would say it's almost certain that this is another fake list. Although funny enough, this is definitely one of the more probable lists of the bunch, featuring things like the Evil Within 3 and Fallout London make it seem incredibly unlikely. Just because Bethesda hired a couple of Fallout London team members doesn't mean that the entire mod will suddenly be showcased at the big summer event. Although we also got this much more fun tilted and cut off leak that has some pretty wild assertions on it. Reportedly Fable and Wolfenstein 3 are going to be at the Xbox showcase. Fable in general is a toss-up. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later in this video, but Wolfenstein 3 just seems wild.
It's a toss-up. I'm interested to hear why he thinks it's a toss-up, because that that video they posted on social media of the glitter everywhere, I don't know how you take that as anything other than Fable. Maybe there's some other something that's full of glitter, but that to me seemed very Fable, especially with the music. But maybe he's got info.
Machine Games, the developers of Wolfenstein, are working on that Indiana Jones game that Todd Howard is executive producing. I have a really hard time imagining they share details on Wolfenstein 3 before Indiana Jones. There have been some recent job listings to suggest that Wolfenstein 3 could be actively in development, but you have to imagine it's a bit early in development, while the Indiana Jones game is probably much further along, and if anything, I would expect to see Indiana Jones here. Not saying that's confirmed, but definitely seems more probable to me than seeing Wolfenstein 3 already. Not to mention that this leak also lists Bethesda Softworks as the developer of Wolfenstein 3, which is just wrong.
Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's a dum-dum.
Publisher, Machine Games, is the developer of that one. But what makes this leak way more fun is reportedly Fallout New Vegas 2 will be shown here as well, along with Cyberpunk 2077's DLC. And apparently that DLC is also getting a 3-month timed exclusive for Xbox. Fallout New Vegas 2, according to this leak, is coming from Obsidian and it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, which would just be absolute insanity. Obsidian is already working on not only Avowed, but also the Outer Worlds 2. But despite that, they still somehow found time to get Fallout New Vegas 2 out the door in just 2 years. And I guess all of those quotes about Obsidian wanting to work on another Fallout game were just a big facade and a cool cover by the CEO. So yeah, it's fake. I mean, Fallout New Vegas 2 could happen one day, but one, I don't think it would actually be called Fallout New Vegas 2.
Luke 9K super
think
chatted $5. If you give Jedi Survivor another go, you should try it with some of the mods my mod team has been doing. Really makes it feel a bit more fresh.
Oh, interesting. I have been replaying a good chunk of it because we're working on the critique. So I've been playing it, but I haven't messed around with mods or anything so far. But I'd be interested in hearing what those mods are like. Like, quality of life would be great because it needs a good number of quality of life improvements. Different bosses and stuff, that could be really cool. I don't know. I'd be interested in hearing what you're working on.
Think anyone really wants a direct sequel of Fallout New Vegas with the same characters, and it really seems like this is going to be based off the fact that New Vegas 2 did in fact pop up in an official capacity as a branch for Fallout 4 a couple of months ago that we could see on SteamDB. This was an interesting one in that this was seemingly done by somebody at Bethesda. It's their official SteamDB. It's not like anybody could just get access to this. Thus far, I've just largely assumed it was a troll by Bethesda. They can name these branches anything. In the past, they've actually named them Arrow and Knee, poking fun at the Skyrim meme. But who knows? Maybe something as far as Creation Club content around the next-gen version is in the works around New Vegas content, but a full-on New Vegas 2 just seems incredibly unlikely, or at least not happening anytime soon. And of course,
I don't know if they did, like, for the next gen update, if they had like Fallout New Vegas remastered in the Fallout 4 engine and it was just like a little $10 add-on or something, I think that would be a layup for easy money. Ooh baby. Ooh baby. But I agree, I don't know why on earth they would call it Fallout New Vegas 2 unless it is just like watch the internet explode while I do this and then they type it in just to be funny. That's pretty hardcore trolling if we're being real, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it is actually Fallout New Vegas, or maybe they were just trolling. If that's a troll, that is evil.
Of course, with all of that in
like
mind, all of those leaks were around a Bethesda game, Fallout 4, and this new leak claims it's coming from Obsidian, which just doesn't make any sense at all. The Cyberpunk 2077 DLC listing is definitely a bit more interesting to me. Not the fact that it's on this list, because one, this is an expansion, not a DLC. CDPR clearly differentiates between the two. DLCs are free, and this list is pretty much all fake. I mean, even as just a simple example, they couldn't even spell Silksong correctly, but I have been increasingly suspecting that
Slicksong.
the upcoming Cyberpunk
That's actually intentional. They're renaming it because Slicksong sounds really slick.
2077 expansion would be at the Xbox showcase and not.
I was kind of hoping he would have new leaks to show. I mean, this is stuff we looked at weeks and weeks ago. But maybe later in the video he has new stuff.
Summer Game Fest. Phantom Liberty will have a hands-on at Summer Game Fest Playdays, and get subscribed because I'm flying out to California just to play Phantom Liberty. Playdays is almost going to be like a familiar trade show, but it's going to be an in-person, media-only event. This is taking place slightly after the Summer Game Fest presentation, which you probably are all already familiar with from the past years they've done it. Thus far, in all of the marketing material, CDPR hasn't said they're necessarily at Summer Game Fest, but very specifically listed it as being at Summer Game Fest Playdays, which makes me wonder if the Phantom Liberty trailer, this big trailer many of us are anticipating, isn't actually going to be at the Summer Game Fest stream, and instead will be at the Xbox stream a few days later. Does any of this really matter? Not really. I just wanted to give this as a bit of a forewarning. If you watch Summer Game Fest and Phantom Liberty isn't there, don't freak out. It'll probably just be at the Xbox show a few days later. And lastly, a more iconic leak, we do have a tilted blurry picture with a bunch of logos that is also almost certainly fake. This one's honestly not even that outlandish. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if many of the games we see here will almost certainly be at the showcase. It's a lot of safe bets, at least relatively speaking. But I think the big giveaway is that they're using the Persona 3 portable logo. With this, they're trying to claim that Persona 3 is getting a remake and that's going to be revealed here, but they're using the wrong logo. So that just seems like a big error. Plus, why on earth would an image like this exist? Why would Xbox be creating an image with all of the logos of the upcoming reveals? That just seems like a really bad idea. It's not like things like this are ever shared publicly. We get to see all the trailers at the event. We don't get a list like this coming out beforehand. And if you're looking at all of these being a bit disappointed, there are some more realistic predictions out there. This isn't a leak, but it's just more likely what's going to be shown off at the showcase, and it's a prediction coming from Clobreel. On here, you can see a lot of common assumptions. Minecraft's ray tracing update that has been rumored, Avowed, Hellblade 2, and even a new Age of Mythology, but also a few more of the hopeful things, like a potential reveal of In Exile's upcoming game. In Exile's new game is something to get excited for. This is going to be a pretty big AAA RPG from a veteran RPG dev, but it seems like this is the game they can make where they finally have a budget. Microsoft bought them out, and they're able to now create a first-person RPG, and I feel like this could really be something special, a game that you see the trailer of and it immediately becomes your most anticipated video game. But from here, let's round things a little bit more and look at some of the more recent leaks to come out that are actually true, at least probably. Right at the bat, we got official confirmation that Bethesda Softworks will actually be at the showcase. There's some genuine concern from fans that the Xbox Summer Showcase wouldn't actually feature Bethesda outside of Starfield due to the naming. The past couple of years, we've seen the name being the Xbox and Bethesda Summer Showcase, but this year it's just Xbox. But in a recent post about the event, Xbox says, the Xbox Game Showcase is your look at new games from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, leading creators, and partners from around the globe. And just recently, we even saw a video of the VP of Games Marketing at Xbox at the Bethesda Softworks HQ. So it seems like we're definitely going to be seeing some Bethesda games, not just Starfield.
I mean, what else are we... I mean, they probably are bringing Fallout 4 next gen. So I think we see that, but I don't know what else BGS would have to show. As for Bethesda Softworks, yeah, they're going to have tons of Bethesda Softworks stuff, I'm sure. I don't see why that's like that crazy. I don't know.
For example, Hi-Fi Rush is almost certainly getting a DLC, and we'll probably hear about it, maybe even get to play it during or after the showcase. Hi-Fi Rush was shadow dropped at the Developer Direct earlier this year, and in that received tons of praise from fans and critics. It's really been one of the most notable successes from Xbox thus far this year. Enough of a success that it's very likely getting a DLC. 10 new to-be-announced achievements were just added to the game on Steam. These are hidden, but can be seen via SteamDB. And these new achievements feel very in line with a DLC for the game. With how much success they had shadow dropping the entire game the first time around, I think it just makes sense that a DLC would also be shadow dropped. And of course, the Xbox Showcase would be the perfect time to do that. Although technically nothing's really confirmed around that, it could just be revealed at the event and then released later on, but it just doesn't feel like that would be right. One of the other really big games we've been waiting for from Bethesda is the new ZeniMax Online Studios MMO. We know this game is big. They've opened numerous new studios in the past few years, and just in general, there are several years of dev time with quite a few devs on this one. But a variety of new job listings that went up around this game reveal a ton of additional details that got me pretty hyped, and I think as a result, you'll be pretty hyped. It's going to be an MMO built on Unreal Engine. It's going to be multi-platform, likely both Xbox and PC, but it's also going to be an open-world RPG set in third person with a focus on combat and exploration. And one of these job listings mentions being comfortable with a development schedule that is playtest driven. This could mean internal playtesting, but with how long this game has been in development, it also could mean a beta coming in the not-so-distant future, perhaps.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they announce it and then they're like, yeah, and we have a playtest launching in August. Makes sense. 4 years in development, you're probably ready for some playtests. Makes sense to me. And it is compelling that they have launched a bunch of new studios. It's also important to note that while I'm not really into ESO, ZeniMax Online apparently did a pretty good job with it. There are some people that swear by ESO, so it could be good. Could be good. Who knows?
So later this summer. Either way, we know this game is big and it definitely sounds exciting to me. We don't really know exactly what it is outside of some kind of new IP. I wouldn't be shocked if both Starfield and this new ZeniMax Online Studios game, if it's finally revealed, really steal the show for a lot of fans. And then there's giant monster news. This is one of those stories that is actually not a story, but it got enough attention and media coverage that I feel like I need.
Kappa. This is one I'm very conflicted on.
Kappa Claus super chatted $5.
Yeah.
$100 says Starfield gonna launch at 30 frames with no performance mode.
In this interview, he specifically said something that made me think they've got to be revealing 60 FPS for Starfield. Let me play it back, watch his face, and then we're going to do a poll. I want to see what the majority of you guys think. Off of body language, how he presents it. Because basically, he only says yeah, and this is pure speculative nonsense. Isn't this great? It's like the good old days where we're just making a video, making shit up. But with this, let's evaluate his body language, and try to figure out if this is, yeah, you'll get a clear answer and you're not going to like it. Or if this is, yeah, it's going to be cool. You're going to like what you hear. Okay.
Kappa Claus super chatted $5. Yeah, plus side I equals number 60 frames.
Brought up.
Let's see. Let's see what people think.
Should we expect that answer? It's clear as day. Yeah. Okay. That's.
Yeah. He also reopened his mouth like he was going to say something more, but then caught
As
himself.
you brought up, should we expect that answer? It's clear as day. Yeah. Okay. That's a great one.
His eyes darted around a little. To me, this comes off as I'm uncomfortable. Let's see what you think. Start a poll. Because I would understand if you saw that body language and you went, yeah, no, I think he's like, yeah, we're going to give you a clear answer. I would also totally understand it. My impression is, yeah. It's like an uncomfortable yes. But it's the Creation Engine 2.0, Luke. Yeah, dude, Jesus Christ. We trained in LA Noir exactly for this moment. Exactly. That's pretty much exactly what this is. That's a Midwest, yeah, no. That's my impression. If you don't live in the Midwest of the US, there is a thing called the yeah, no. It's a thing for some reason we do where if the answer is no, but we're like kind of uncomfortable with it, we'll go, yeah, no. So we say both, but it's what you end on that matters. I would say if they don't mention it in the first 60 seconds, it doesn't have 60 frames. But I don't think Phil is going to let them like beat around the bush. I think he's going to force them to say very clearly what it is. They don't want a Redfall situation again.
Need to clarify why it's not a story. Giant Monster News is a trademark for what is very likely to be a mobile game that ZeniMax and Bethesda have been maintaining since early 2009. The process goes something like this. Bethesda files the trademark, can request extensions 5 times in a row, but since they haven't actually released any games, they can never finalize the trademark. So they run out of extensions, the trademark expires, and they immediately file a new one, which just starts the process over. And eventually when Giant Monster News does come out, they could finally establish the trademark for real and stop refiling over and over again. 2 weeks ago, people saw a new Bethesda trademark for Giant Monster News was filed, and a lot of people got really excited. But in reality, this is just another step in this exact same process that has been happening since 2009. I mean, in fact, this is the 5th time Bethesda has filed a trademark for Giant Monster News. Although, yeah, this could be the one time it's finally coming, it also doesn't really mean anything. The Xbox Showcase being so close.
Giant Monster News. I have no idea what that means. Mr. Mo, I was getting a yeah, no, for sure vibe. Yeah, that's another Midwest thing. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Or like, what was the other thing I noticed the other day? I said it to Nikki, and then Nikki said it back to me, and I was like, wait, that didn't make any sense. We also say I don't know as like a filler instead of like or like we'll start sentences. I don't know. I think, and you guys will notice I do it a lot. I'm trying to work on it because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm talking about something I do know about, but I'll say I don't know. I think it's really weird. It's really weird.
Is completely irrelevant. This is the time when the trademark expired, and in turn, it's when they're filing the new one. And as far as what Giant Monster News is, we don't really know. The trademark lists a mobile game, so it's probably that, but outside of that, we don't really know. It's really just a name that Bethesda is holding on to. Although one of the other leaks that is unfortunately very real is around Stalker 2. This is a bit of a bizarre situation. It seems like the devs behind Stalker 2 were using torrents to share early builds of the game internally. Although unfortunately, one of these was cached to the public, and in turn, users were able to download that torrent, and in turn, basically just download an early copy of Stalker 2. Now, fortunately, this was encrypted, but unfortunately, it seems like largely due to the ongoing conflict in the world and the Stalker 2 devs being based in Ukraine, their game being leaked online, even if encrypted, made them a major target for hackers, who very quickly got past the encryption, and as a result, there's now a bunch of Stalker 2 images and gameplay shared online of this early build. This is a 100% legit and real leak. So now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to show any of this, not only limited, but on a high level.
God,
Xbox
I accidentally clicked. I'm so sorry.
Got me pretty hyped, and I think as a result, you'll be cool. But since they haven't actually released any games, they can never filed, and a lot of people got builds of the game internally. Hackers who very quickly got past the encryption, and as a result, there's now a bunch of Stalker 2 images and gameplay shared online of this early build. This is a 100% legit and real leak. So now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to show any of this. Not only would it get the video taken down, but it also just feels dirty. I don't want to cover or showcase leaks like this. Stalker 2 is in this really weird spot right now, where it was originally set to drop in 2022, but due to the conflict in Ukraine, many devs went to literal battle, and the game was delayed, understandably. The current release window is set for December 2023, but of course, this may end up getting pushed yet again. It seems pretty likely we'll see or hear more about Stalker 2 at the Xbox Showcase, but at least as of right now, be careful, there are definitely leaks out there, and I really wouldn't seek them out. We're probably going to hear more in just a week's time, and I'd wait for that glamorous gameplay trailer rather than a bunch of crudely made gameplay footage. While that one is quickly becoming one of the most anticipated RPGs from Xbox, we can also see Fable at the showcase, and it's potentially already being teased by Xbox. They posted this video to get people hyped for the showcase, and the background music.
Yeah, this is where I'm like, I don't know how this is anything other than Fable. He said earlier he wasn't sold on Fable being there. I don't know how you interpret this as anything other than Fable, but let's see what he's got.
Music is actually the original Fable theme, just remixed, as well as you can see glitter all over that eventually forms a trail to the showcase cover art. Fable features a trail in-game that'll lead you to the next quest objective, just like a bunch of other games, and it does look a lot like glitter, so all of it taken together heavily implies a Fable presence at the Xbox showcase. We've gotten a teaser in the past, but really not much is known about the game, and in fact, many of the rumors around it suggest this one still is a ways away, so I'm curious to see what we see with Fable at the showcase, and Xbox definitely is being deliberate here. They're making people think Fable is coming. Whether or not it actually does, though, is a different story. They definitely made some mistakes in the past with accidentally teasing things that never really came to fruition. This one's pretty on the nose, though, so I feel like Fable has got to be there, or there's going to be a lot of very angry fans after the showcase, but something we are absolutely...
Did I just mishear him earlier? Did he not say he was iffy on it being there? Okay, I don't know. He just said it's definitely going to be there. Okay, I don't know what that was. Maybe I misheard him, but I could have sworn he was like, yeah, I'm kind of, I think he said I'm not sold or something like that on Fable being there, or I'm iffy on it being there, and then he just said...
This one's pretty on the nose, though, so I feel like Fable has got to be there.
Fable has got to be there.
There's going to be a lot of very angry fans after the showcase, but something we are absolutely going to be hearing more about at the showcase is Starfield, and we got some interesting leaks around this game as well. What is becoming one of the most bizarre leak stories around Starfield is with this custom controller. A few weeks ago, pictures of a custom controller popped up on Chinese...
Yeah, remember you guys were giving me crap, and then this guy found it in Target?
...social media, and it made the rounds. Although, it was largely concluded that this was just fan-made and not an actual product coming from Xbox or Bethesda. This largely due to the fact that the controller was posted by a Chinese reseller who has made other custom controllers in the past, so that listing was taken down shortly thereafter. So the general consensus was it looks amazing, but it's probably fake. Well, since then, a ton more images have surfaced of the controller, and this time it's in a more official looking packaging, detailing things like an interstellar grip to the controller that's going to be inspired by spaceship panel design, transparent triggers with a bronze motor within, and of course, it just being in the colors of Constellation, our primary faction in Starfield. I think for many, the box art popping up just kind of passed the sniff test, so they took this as real. It takes a lot of effort to make a controller, but it also takes a lot more effort to also make a box that looks realistic to go along with it. Although this saga doesn't actually stop here, as apparently there is also a headset on the way. No images for the...
Does he not have the video of the guy in the Target store that found it on the shelf? I guess not. Did he really? When was this posted? 2 days ago? I don't know. I'm surprised he doesn't have that footage. Somebody found that controller in a Target like lockbox.
But it seems like this was first rumored from a message in an
listed
Xbox
for
Era
sale.
live stream chat, which is a random place to have a leak like this. But more properly, we got rumors of a limited Xbox controller and headset by Deala Labs magazine and this user on Twitter. In early May, they reported hearing about a limited edition controller and headset coming to Xbox. These were codenamed, and later on they reported that they had to confirm that these two would actually be in the style of Starfield, and they corresponded to those leaks we had seen previously. Although, also according to the source, no limited edition console is planned. Despite the fact that Starfield-themed Xbox boxes have been seen in the wild, it looks like this may just be a new box design.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the box, and it's a regular Series X console that comes with a game code. That's what they've done before for other stuff.
And not actually a new console design. Although it almost feels like we're running into the same problem again. Many people are just now taking this as being fat.
I saw someone say you can, but the controller on the 12th. Or buy the controller on the 12th.
It's almost like the same issue we had previously, and as far as I can tell, it's just really how much do you trust this individual? They're the main source saying this is real. Beyond this, it doesn't really seem like there's much concrete evidence to prove this is actually real and not just an elaborate fake. But also it just seems really plausible. It's very high quality, it's something a lot of users would be interested in, so it makes sense that Xbox would make something like this around Starfield. Although even beyond this, Starfield is reportedly getting some combat upgrades from id Software, that being the developers of Doom and the studio who played a major role in the combat upgrades we saw with Fallout 4. This is one of those leaks that you take with a big grain of salt, as it's literally just coming from a random 4chan post. In this, they say id Software has been working with Bethesda to overhaul the combat in Starfield. They joined the project back in August of last year. I have extremely close ties with an individual at id Software who reported this to me. The combat is in a vastly better state than it was during the Xbox showcase last year. I found this leak to be pretty interesting to me for two major reasons.
Please, dear God, yes. Please. Even Maddie, who I love dearly, Maddie is somebody who is like an age-old fan of Bethesda stuff. And even he was like, yeah, the combat gunplay didn't look great. Really didn't. So even like Xbox fans and stans are saying, yeah, the gunplay is not probably where it should be. So if this is true, that's awesome. I would not put much weight on a random guy posting anonymously to 4chan saying something, because that is literally useless. But if it is true, that would be great. That would be great.
So on one hand, many people just assume it's true. It already helped with the combat in Fallout 4, and it just kind of makes sense that they would help once again with Starfield, especially when you consider how much more is riding on this game being successful. But what I found a bit more interesting was how this leak suggests that id was brought in relatively late in development, which makes it sound like it was actually a response to fan back.
Why are people doing this? He's playing it at double. No, okay, I did it again. Jesus, I'm the problem. That was a roller coaster I just went in on. Okay, if you guys weren't here like 2 weeks ago when we talked about Starfield, basically a bunch of people on Twitter started posting videos of Starfield's like this gunplay sequence running at double speed. And people were like, see, the gunplay actually looks really, really good. And everybody in the comments was like, but dude, you're playing it at 2x speed. So like, this is not what the game looks like. And they played it at regular speed and it's way sluggish. And I just thought, I was like, oh my God, he's playing it at higher speed. It drives me crazy when people do this. And then I realized we were watching the video in 1.5 speed.
Backlash rather than something that was always
So
planned.
this is what
If
the
they
game
really were
actually
just
looks
added
like.
last August, that was just a couple of
But you see, like, people were going, just to show you what it's like, people were going and playing it at double speed like this and being like, wow, look, the combat looks so twitchy and so intense. This is actually really cool. Look at this. He's like sliding and zipping and wow, this looks awesome. And it's like, yeah, well, this is running at double speed. So this is not what the game will actually look like. But then you play it at regular speed and it's like, oh, never mind. Never mind. So all of that, I almost got upset for something I was doing because I'm a dumbass.
Flash rather than something that was always planned. If they really were just added last August, that was just a couple of months after the Starfield gameplay debut. So could this mean that perhaps one of these Starfield delays was actually caused by this? But overall, this is literally just some
Well, double speed would be 60 FPS, but double speed, like 60 FPS is not double speed. A game running in 60 FPS is not running at twice the speed in-game as 30 FPS. They should be running at the same in-game speed, just one has more subdivisions within the frame rate.
random 4chan post. You could go make one yourself right now in the exact same style, and we have no way of knowing if it's true or not. With that in mind, though, that's an update and a guide on some of the recent leaks to come out around the Xbox.
That's the whole video. Honestly, I'm actually quite disappointed. I was like braced for him to come swinging with some fresh stuff. There's a couple things like this. I wasn't aware of the DLC for Hi-Fi Rush. That's cool. But like all of this we've known about for months. The controller, I mean, this, he basically just said, yeah, they showed this glitter thing, which we've known for weeks. And then this controller has all been confirmed because people have seen it in Target on the shelves, which I don't know how somebody just fakes that. They're in the Target store and behind the locked glass box is this. They would have to have somebody they know, or they would have to work at Target, have one of those keys, put the product in there, lock it, change their outfit, and then film it like they're a customer just coming across it. And then in addition to all of that, it would have to be a really, really good fake like this that also is perfectly in tune with the other leaks that people have been posting for like, boxes in the UK. So like this one's been all but confirmed. The hollow triggers are actually the one thing that would make me consider buying this because that's cool. But honestly, all of this we've already kind of known. I'm a little disappointed, Juicehead. I'm sorry, guys. I was braced for something more exciting. That was just kind of like wah, wah. But you know what? I guess we can vibe and we can chill to this cutting edge trailer again. So, whenever we're stressed about, being disappointed in life, we can just remember that this is a trailer for an upcoming zombie survival game that they posted, thinking this would quell the fears of gamers who are not sure if this game is real or not. It's just amazing. It's not just about a post-apocalyptic survival. It's about family. He took my thing.